Hey, this is Gene. There's a little bit of an update to the Mason Green situation. I wasn't really looking for it this morning. I heard some things that there have been some backtracking and stuff, but apparently some people out the Atlantic said that this whole thing started like August 4th, that they were going to bring him back, but they're going to wait till the women come back from the World Cup. I don't know why they want to ask anybody that plays for the Manchester United women's team. I said it in my other video a couple days ago. Should you ask everybody then? Should you ask the staff? Should you ask the groundkeepers? Should you ask the guys to bring the kit in every day? They know nothing about what's going on, but I just want to go ahead and give my thoughts on this. I had a guy that actually responded to my video on Mason Green this morning, and one of the first persons that actually agreed with me, because he said, I just took a step back and just looked at the entire situation, which I did. Using my experience, seeing how this can happen, we don't know exactly what happened. But what I do know is that when the Crown decided not to prosecute him anymore, they said that the witness was no longer available. So that means the alleged victim was no longer available. And also, and importantly, new evidence had come in. Now that evidence, we could speculate what that may be. It's possible maybe the audio was edited. It's possible that picture was not real. It was faked by her. And I don't want to go down this road. I talked about it a little bit in that video, but women have done this since they had the ability to use phones or cameras to set things up for this, because they have to in a lot of ways. I don't believe in the patriarchy or the matriarchy and all that bullshit. I think people deal with each other individually, but women understand that there are certain things that they can use to get power in a relationship. In that relationship, Mason had the financial power. He had the fame. She didn't have that. She wanted to get that. One of the reasons why that she was probably with him. I mean, I'm all about love. I really am. I hope to God that that's how it started. That it wasn't the fact that he was a football player, that she wasn't one of those women that just hanged out by Carrington, just looking at the footballers or sitting at the nightclubs waiting for these footballers that they just met organically. I don't know. I think it's doubtful that this happened. But, they stay together and they stay together and they stay together. And then this shit happens. She claims this. He has to deal with all of this. Everybody thinks he's a monster now. Now she wants him back. They're living together. They have a baby together. And as I said in my video, it's probably best if we just let them go on with their life. Now, I read the Atlantic article. Again, it's one of these unnamed sources in the club. Clearly, they were talking about this for a while. They've been looking at it. They've been researching it. They probably talked to her 1,000 times and says, do you still want him to play? They probably asked her, hey, why don't we just loan him out? And she said no. And she probably was in that room with Mason and said, I'd want him to be here to deal with it. So once we pull off the Band-Aid, that everything will be, will be better. And eventually, why this play and the fact he'll do stuff in the community and she'll be with him to support him, that this can just go away and allow them to live their life. Everybody needs redemption. As humans, we should understand this. We shouldn't just say, the guy did not kill her, all right? We don't know that he actually did anything physical to her. When the Crown comes back and says there are new evidence that basically says what we have from evidence already stated are now in repute, that we don't actually know that what we're seeing is the actual evidence. As somebody who has seen this happen, seen people be in this position, people that were not powerful at all, but had to deal it, and then shit came out, all of a sudden you see that in how they report it. Never at this level, of course. It's not like, millions and millions of billions and billions of dollars, or billions, of people have seen this story. They have already decided that this man is a monster, all right? And I don't know, and you don't know And nobody that will watch this video, or anybody on the Mark Goldbridge channel, United Stand, United People's TV, the official Manchester United website, it doesn't matter. We do not know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know what led to it. So I'm not saying anything that everybody that's an adult doesn't already understand. We're fallible. We are born with sin. God died for us because we are born with sin. And if this man will try to redeem himself, regardless of what happened, maybe this has all been faked, but he's still with her. I mean, what was that Gone Girl that happened 20 years ago or 10 years ago with Ben Affleck and the other girl? I mean, this is how it is sometimes. Sometimes you have to stay with these people. And I said in my other video that, maybe their relationship is either so toxic or they're so in love with each other that there are so many women that get out online. They complain and complain and complain about the man that they're with, and he doesn't show any emotions. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't care if I'm there. I don't want to say what allegedly Mason did was the right thing to do, but the psyche of women and why they stay with apparent abusers should be discussed. And again, if we're going to say that women are so empowered and so smart, they want to tell us how smart they are, then do we allow her to stay with him, or do we bring the state to come in and stop her from her own self? Or that women are so empowered and entitled or whatever, let them decide what they're going to do. I always let them decide what they're going to do. Individually, we don't know. I don't look at a man next to me and say, I'm exactly like that man. I do know generally how men look at women and how we view women. It's not that we don't look at them as our equal. It's a different type of thing. When we're with men, we have to do a little bit different. We don't, heterosexual men are not looking at other men to have sexual relationship with. So there's usually a hierarchy with men. There's a alpha, there's a bravo, or a beta, or whatever. The beta still has important things, but there's also the alpha, the leader, and all that stuff that's important. When we're talking to women, we don't care. We don't care how much money they make. We don't care their jobs, really. It's just not really that, because we expect anyway that we're going to be the leader in the relationship. And sometimes women don't understand that, and that's why they end up being by themselves when they're 40. So that's a different other video, and there are a lot of people online that talk about this, like some of them. Some of them are very young when they talk about this, and they're spewing shit they don't really know. I've been around a while. I'm almost 60. I'm 58. Seen a lot. Seen how everything's kind of changed, how we look at our relationships with each other. This whole scenario, if it's just a normal people, this shit happens every day. And then normally it gets settled. Sometimes it goes the other way, where a guy might kill everybody, or the woman will hire somebody to kill him or poison him. But we don't know. There could be 100,000 people that walk in there and said every day they look like they were just in love with each other. And then all of a sudden he's going to be on Dateline because he ended up killing everybody in the room, or she'll end up killing him and the baby, because women do this shit. They will kill their kids just to get back at their husbands. This idea that women just have no agency in a relationship is absolutely insane. So I was going to watch that thing this morning that was on United Stand, but then Beth was on there, and I can't. I'm not going to sit there and watch her, because I already know what she feels as well. And she's a little girl. She's probably 5 foot, probably weighs 90 pounds. She couldn't stop anybody from doing anything to her. I would never want her to be in that position. And I think this girl that Mason's with is almost as small as she is. And as men, we never want to see this happening. We don't want to see a woman. That picture was very shocking. And we want to go out and beat him up. In the old days, that's how it used to be. And it kind of is in some areas. The old days, they would go find him, and he wouldn't be around. And then we're going to ask the question, was it all true? Because we have to always believe women. But you don't actually believe women till the facts actually meet up with the evidence. And that's what this whole thing is, right? I didn't really go into the the crowns thing. But when this woman, or excuse me, this guy actually reported this morning, and because people said, "Oh, she's no longer going to charge him," well, in the United States, you don't really need that. If you have the evidence, the state can still go after the guy, right? Even, I mean, we have the ability in this country that the wife doesn't have to actually testify against her husband, and the other way, or the other side as well. We have that, and I don't know how it is in England. So you don't necessarily have to have the witness there because they had other evidence. So when they say that the evidence that they had is now kind of like in repute, that means that the only two things that they had was the audio and the pictures. So it makes you believe that something's going on. And I said almost from the very beginning, the first time I saw the pictures, I said, Jesus, I've seen this before. And I've seen this 30 years ago when we had like Polaroids and shit. It wasn't like a phone you could do right away, right? I do people that did this shit. They bit down on their lip for about a minute. All of a sudden that got done. And there would be you could wait another day and there's a scab there. In the picture, there's an actual scab there. So this had to be the next day that she actually bit down on the thing again to start the blood to come down, and it's just straight down like gravity. It's like if you punched somebody out, there'd be blood everywhere. It was like right down her thing. And then where her bruises are, it looks like she could have done that and hold herself both ways, or have found somebody to do that for her. I'm not saying she did that. It is what it is. I've heard the audio. He sounds like a man bat in there. He's looking at her as an object. I get that. I really do. But she stayed with him. After this 4 or 5 times or 4 or 5 months they weren't together, she decided she wanted to be with him when she could have made money in so many different ways. She didn't have to stay with him. And at that point, she wasn't pregnant. So it is like I said in the video, and how I actually believe, are we going to allow them just to move on with their life? And why do we're not above them. Nobody in this world is better or less than these two young women are, or people are. They're learning. We should not sit there and just say, no, it's over. He's a monster. And then women should say, you're so naive staying with him. Imagine the shit she's taken as well. They're a Garen Dog team. She's hearing shit as much as well. And she's staying with him. So I'm going to stop right now. We'll see how this goes. It looked like they were going to start announcing this stuff, and then certain groups came out. I don't think they're how powerful they are, but they're going to be even more if he actually gets reinstated into the first team. We've seen the picture of him with just a blacked out picture on the website. So they're putting us. They're like do it slowly and slowly and slowly. There's going to be some protests. There's going to be all this stuff. Why? They decided they want to stay together. If there's no threat there, can't we just let them move on with their life? We'll talk about it later. In the comments, you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.